have a love-hate relationship with TikTok. On the one hand, I think it's cool that it gives you endless ideas and thoughts and memes. But on the other hand, it's almost too many ideas, too fast-paced. So much so that most times I end up forgetting what I just saw and recreate none of it. But no more of that. In today's video, I'm actually gonna take the time to give some of these viral recipes a try. I'll be putting together meals inspired by these trendy foods, creating plant-based versions, and hoping that in the end, you will want to recreate some of these at some point as well. Before we begin, please take a second, click the like button, that'd be great. And now, let's get into it. First off, we have this sandwich here that everybody lost their minds about not too long ago. It's called the Tunacado. It's by Joe and the Juice, made up of pesto, tomato, avocado, and whipped tuna. Veganizing this one was incredibly easy. To a food processor, add a can of white beans, fresh parsley or cilantro, a roughly chopped shallot, vegan mayonnaise, vegan sour cream or soy yogurt, soy sauce, mustard, white wine vinegar, salt, and pepper. Also add a sheet of nori and a little bit of flaxseed oil. Now you can also make this without the seaweed and the oil, but this is just in case you actually want this to have somewhat of a tuna taste. Now I couldn't find the bread that Joe and the Juice are using, so I kind of just tried to flatten down this sourdough ciabatta type bun, which I cut open and then put into my grilling pan for a few minutes on each side, meanwhile gathering my remaining sandwich ingredients. Now it's time to assemble the sandwich, so it goes vegan pesto on both sides, a couple spoonfuls of the tuna mix, some tomato slices, some sliced avocado, and if you wish, some pickled jalapenos and or a little bit of tabasco. I could imagine adding something like tortilla chips in there as well, just to give it a bit more crunch. But yeah, it's super yummy. The pesto flavor is of course delicious, but it kind of distracts a little bit from the bean mixture. So honestly, like, feel free to admit that. But either way, this was a really good lunch, and I would definitely make this again. I'm gonna give the other half to my mom and see what she thinks. Now for my next trick, I will be combining two viral TikTok recipes, the baked salad and the green goddess salad. As the name suggests, a baked salad combines ingredients that are baked. Go for ingredients that will all roughly cook around the same time. For instance, chickpeas, cauliflower, leek, carrot, purple carrot, spiky cabbage. Prepare 2 baking sheets with parchment paper and preheat the oven to 190 degrees Celsius. Chop your veggies into small bite-sized pieces. Mix in oil and salt and other spices of choice, and then allow them to roast for about 30 minutes. To roast the chickpeas, place them on the second baking sheet. Once again, add oil, spices, and salt. I also like to mix in a little bit of cornstarch. Allow the chickpeas to roast for about 30 minutes as well. Now onto the dressing, which I actually made quite a few changes to. First off, I'm adding the olive oil plus the shallots and garlic to a small saucepan, letting that cook for about 5 minutes over medium heat. Then I'm transferring that to my blender, followed by some lemon juice, lemon zest, vegan sour cream or cream cheese, basil, chives, spinach, a little bit of agave syrup, and salt. Then assemble the salad. I feel like what baked salads are missing oftentimes is some sort of freshness, and so the dressing works super nicely in this. Now for this next recipe, I followed the steps of the TikTok more closely. It's for these cheese-stuffed potato bites, or potato pancakes. And I can already tell you, these turned out wonderfully, even using vegan cheese. So in advance, I boiled some potatoes with the skin on. Transfer the peeled potatoes to a large bowl and mash them using a fork. or a potato masher or your hands. Actually, your hands work best. Next, add rice flour, some powdered sugar, and some salt. I'm using glutinous rice flour, but any rice flour should work. Mix it up thoroughly, kneading with your hands until you have this somewhat smooth potato dough. For the filling, I'm using this vegan cheese here, which I'm just cutting into little squares or cubes. Grab about 2 tablespoons worth of dough and shape each into a little disc. Place a chunk of cheese in the middle and close it off. I also made some of these using shredded cheese and vegan kimchi. Those were a bit harder to shape. Add some frying oil to a medium saucepan and bring the heat up to medium-high. Test with a wooden spoon or a chopstick if it's hot enough. Once that is the case, carefully place the potato bites into the oil, however many will fit, and let them crisp up until golden brown for about 1 to 2 minutes on each side. Lower the temperature to medium or medium-low as the bites are cooking. I was so surprised that this vegan Gouda cheese actually melted nicely here. It was so good. This felt like eating kids' food, but like in the best way. Next up, we have this crispy sushi waffle idea. It's topped with avocado, cucumber, grilled salmon, and a bunch of other sauces. I substituted the fish with jackfruit, which looks shockingly similar, I know, right? Marinate your fish substitute a few hours in advance or the night before. To make the marinade, grab a medium bowl, add dry shiitake mushrooms, nori, soy sauce, agave, rice vinegar, flaxseed oil, miso paste, and hot water. Cook up some sushi rice next and allow that to cool completely. I cooked the tiny sushi rice waffles for about 5-6 minutes. Remove the tofu or jackfruit from the marinade and give that a little bit of a pan fry. Just like the video suggests, I added mashed avocado, cucumber slices, the fake grilled salmon, some sweet soy sauce, mayonnaise, which no, actually that's vegan aioli, sriracha, and some bagel seasoning. This was yummy, like a very yummy set of flavors. The one thing that bothered me was the fact that the rice becomes like really dry and crunchy, which crunchy sounds good in theory, but the rice got kind of just stuck in my teeth a lot, and so I ended up just serving most of this as little sushi bowls, which that alleviates a lot of time as well. I had my friend Georgina over for dinner here, and we ate the sushi bowls together with the potato cakes from the previous recipe. Someone said I should make Pinterest cakes. By that I think they are referring to the trendy Pinterest lunchbox tiny cakes that were on trend about a year ago. I know this isn't necessarily TikTok, but I was so excited someone suggested that. Also, it was my brother's birthday last week. I did not know exactly what type of cake flavor to make for him, and so I messaged him and asked, "What is your favorite cake flavor?" And he responded by saying apple or marble cake, which are both interesting answers considering the fact that chocolate and cheesecake exist. But to make this cake more fun, I decided to combine the two answers and bake him a small apple marble cake. First things first, grease your cake molds. I'm using these two 10cm springform pans. Preheat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius. To your mixing bowl, add non-dairy milk, sugar, vanilla, vegetable oil, and apple cider vinegar. in a separate small bowl, combine flour, baking powder, and salt. Add the dry ingredients to the wet ones and mix it all up. Amazing. Now, mentally divide this batter into 3/3 and add 1/3 to each of the greased cake tins. Now to the remaining third that is left in the mixing bowl, you're going to add some unsweetened cacao powder. If needed, like if it's really too stiff to mix, add a tiny splash of milk in there as well. Divide the chocolate batter equally between the two cakes. You're going to swirl the vanilla and the chocolate part around, not too much. You still want to be able to differentiate between the two. But yeah, bake the cakes in the oven for around 22 minutes. Now for the filling, I just cut an apple into small chunks, and then I placed the chunks inside a small saucepan, adding some lime juice, agave syrup, cinnamon, and then I just let that cook for like 6 to 10 minutes or until somewhat soft. My frosting is a super simple buttercream frosting. Make sure to use butter that is at room temperature and add the powdered sugar bit by bit. Stop adding any sugar once you're happy with the consistency, and don't forget to add salt as well. Now here's me putting together the cake. I'm kind of creating this little border here to place the filling inside. And then I'm adding the second cake on top. But yeah, this was layer number 1. Then I put this into the fridge for half hour, and then I did my second layer, and then things were already starting to look better. To finish this off, I'm also adding some Christmas cookie crumbles on top because, you know, it kind of fits the vibe of the apple filling. I placed the cake into the fridge overnight, and then I took this with me on the train to Dresden because that's where my brother goes to uni. And yeah, we had this cake at a little cafe. No worries, I asked the person working there if it was fine for me to serve my own cake at their establishment, which is kind of rude if you think about it, but they were chill. You can also just frost the individual cake layers and just have fun with that. I made a slightly different frosting here using vegan cream cheese. And then I figured out that frosting these small 10cm cakes with a butter knife is so much easier. Again, do multiple coats of frosting. I also made sure to place the cake into the freezer for about 10 minutes in between coats. Now, as for decorations, I simply just added some edible flowers. And that was it. I know this is nowhere near as clean looking as most cakes that you find on Pinterest or TikTok, but it's still pretty cute and it's delicious. I like cream cheese frosting so much more than buttercream. And that is it for today's recipes. Thank you so much for watching. For everybody who lives in Germany and or in Berlin, I am planning a little book meetup event situation to happen in the next 1 to 2 months. And to get more updates, more information on that, make sure to follow me over on Instagram at Mina_Rome. I think it's gonna be really fun and I would love to see you there. So yeah. Also let me know in the comments what other recipes, other videos that you'd like to see from me in the future. I hope you have a good rest of your day and I'll talk to you soon. Bye! I'm wasted on you. Wasted on you.